What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. As you guys have probably seen, the ban list is out. I want to get your opinions on it. I'm going to give my analysis. I would have put this video up, honestly. I try and get up as fast as possible. If I didn't have to work, I probably would have got this video up about 7 in the morning. But yeah, I had to work. That's so all the other YouTubers beat me. Anyways, let's go into it. First off, Fishborg Blaster. That was really random. Mainly, I don't think it was because of formula abuse. I really think that it was more so because of the Trishula spam and all that junk that you can do in the OCG with DeLorean and all that. They should have just banned Big Fish. I mean, he's the card that's really kind of easy to get on the field and, you know, summons 4 other monsters and allows you to do all that nonsense, especially with Formula Synchron at 1. It seems like they really could have just left this guy at 3. To go from 3 to ban, man, when was the last time that we saw something go from 3 to 0 in one format? That's really odd. They should have just banned Big Fish. Giant Trunade, they swapped Giant Trunade and Heavy Storm. It makes a lot of sense because as much as I love Giant Trunade and I was always kind of against banning it because it was an inherent neg 1, Giant Trunade doesn't actually punish overextension. It just kind of curbs it. What I mean is if a player goes Rush Rhino set 5 and you Giant Trunade them, yeah, you can kill Rush Rhino or you can kill my Spy or Laquari or whatever, but you don't hurt my other 4 spells. So if you don't basically explode and build up a win condition, your Giant Trunade didn't actually punish me in any way. You know, at best you killed my 1 monster on the field and I still have my 4 back row and you just took a neg. So you really have to kick my chest in that turn to justify using it. And it doesn't actually control overextension. It just kind of curves it for 1 turn. Raw Oppression, I am so against this ban. It is unbelievable. First off, you just really kicked in the teeth of anti-meta decks because I believe having raw Oppression in the game helps curb special summoning more than give your opponent, give people lockout conditions. What I mean is, basically, for people who wanted Raw Oppression banned, their argument was always, well, what happens when your opponent synchros a whole bunch of monsters and then flips Oppression so you can't counter it? Yeah, but in the same mindset, you have to also think that Raw Oppression also stops that Synchro Swarm from happening to begin with. And when you look at when Raw Oppression was at 3, yes, decks like Glad Beast and Teledad during the later stages started playing the card to, you know, lock out the mirror match. But also, those decks never played 3 copies. Only anti-meta decks ever played 3. Even Black Wings, which is a deck that could dance around oppression, its own oppression like crazy, only ran 2 copies. You know, the only decks that ever ran 3 were anti-meta decks. And I think what you're going to see is you're going to see waves and waves of special summonings happening like nobody's business, and there practically are going to be no ways to stop it. You know, cards like Fossil Dyna and Vanity's Fiend, I mean, with cards like Dark Hole and all of this monster destruction, it's not that hard to get those things off the field with, especially in a format where, you know, they got MST at 3. Why the hell did you need to ban Oppression? I don't understand it. It's going to do more harm than good. And then Mind Master, I'm only going to spend a second. I don't even have a Mind Master. It led to really super inconsistent OTKs that apparently they just wanted to address. Not OTKs, but like FTKs. And I mean, the whole like TG Librarian end up with a Quasar Dragon. I mean, the deck was really inconsistent and bad. And I mean, I understand why they banned it, but it never really even topped anything important. Not even in the crappy OCG where they have like, you know, 20-man tournaments and shit. To the limits, the first 2 cards I don't have, but I'll definitely be picking up one of them. That's Blackluster Soldier. Kevin Tewart hinted at this because of the new Ignition priority ruling, basically, which we still haven't even gotten to my knowledge. That doesn't really advocate the damn card coming back because it still has 3,000 attack. It's still basically, the summoning condition is a joke. It can be splashed into about a bazillion decks. It's going to be a +1 if it successfully hits the field because it's going to remove something. Otherwise, you're not going to summon it unless you have game. It removes face-ups, face-downs, all that. It also can attack twice, which wasn't relevant before, but in a format with so much back row hate, it's going to be very relevant. And then you add something like Honest on top of it, it's just going to be dumb. We've also got Monster Reborn 2 Call Letter Hornets to revive it. Blacklisted Soldier is just going to be a fucking behemoth this format. Card had no business being unbanned. Shit. I would have much rather they unbanned something like fun, like Ring of Destruction or some shit like that, rather than Blackluster Soldier. But you know, whatever. 6 Samurai Shi En. This really kicked Samurai in the nuts. I don't like this limitation at all. I mean, if you can't play around, first off, the deck was hardly ever getting 2 Shi Ens out like in the same turn. But this really cripples 6 Samurai. The only light at the end of the tunnel I see for Samurai is the fact that Call of the Haunted is at 2. So if your Shi En dies, maybe you're going to play Call of the Haunted in replace of a 3rd Double Edge or something like that and be able to reborn it. I would assume Samurai players are probably going to play Spirit, which the little bit of Samurai players that there are left, I mean, I wouldn't play the deck now. And I'm actually mad because I have 2 coming in the mail. So Konami just really fucked me over. TG Hyper Librarian, we all kind of felt like it wasn't going to get banned, even though it probably should have, just because of how soon the card came out. So, you know, it is what it is. The Pre-Dragon, I could have predicted this. Basically, if Dandelion was still in the game, this card had to be restricted to 1, in my opinion. It's too easy to just go Foolish and then turn 1 Trishula your opponent and still have 2 tokens. That's a hell of a field to come back from when you already lost a card in your hand. You're staring down a 2700 beater plus 2 tokens to defend that person. So I think the Bree is fine at 1. Formula Synchron. I expressed why this card needed to go to 1 in my last video. Too much of Monarchs just sitting there stalling, getting extra draws every single turn, Fishborg, Treeborn, and just drawing too much. I mean, if you want to excel Synchro to, you know, Quasar or Shooting Star, you can do that, but we're not going to be sitting there every single turn, TG Librarian, doing all of that nonsense garbage. Lonefire was pretty obvious. I mean, granted, maybe Lonefire and Dandelion both didn't need to be hit. One of them had to be hit because they hit a lot of the plant enablers, such as Debris Dragon, Formula Synchron, Avarice. They hit a lot of the enablers, so maybe they didn't have to ban Lonefire. This was definitely, I mean, maybe they didn't have to ban Dandelion. This was definitely a good limit in my book. Heavy Storm, dun 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 dun. I called this one, baby. Too much back row. People setting 5 and then going set spy or some garbage like that. The shit was not fun. It was really annoying, and going first basically could just win you the game because you could set your protection up and your opponent's hand just could become bad because of the shit that you had and because you went second. So Heavy Storm definitely means that people can't set, you know, they can't set Avarices and Dualities and Rhodas and dumb shit like that anymore. So Pot of Avarice is definitely going to shake up the meta. It is amazing. I'm very happy that they brought this card back. Smoke Signal, it really seems unnecessary. Maybe they should have done, like, they limited Shien and Smoke Signal instead of just, like, but they left Gateway. Like, they left the best card in the entire deck, the auto win card. They could have just banned Gateway and left Samurai alone, but they went, like, a very indirect hurting 6 Samurai route. I don't understand. I don't like this limit. It's not like 6 Samurais were dominating. I mean, if you limit this, you might as well limit Proving Ground. The reason Charge of the Light Brigade is justifiably limited is because of the mill. Is because while not only does it allow you to search a Light Swarm, but you can make advantage milling a Necro Gardna or milling a Wolf or something like that at the same time. You know, cards like Proving Ground and cards like Smoke Signal don't allow you to make advantage just upon activation. And Rhoda, you really can't compare Rhoda to this because Rhoda hits way too many fucking cards. I mean, come on. And then Pot of Avarice. I called this one, guys. I mean, I don't know, you guys said I was butthurt or what, but I mean, did I call it or did I call it? The condition is just too easily met. It's way too easy to get 5 monsters in the graveyard. It was too damn easy to go Lonefire, Glow Up, Synchro twice, bam. Turn 1, I've already met my condition. I mean, or Reborn Tengu, you kill 1, I get another one, then I summon blah, 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 blah. You know, making Avarice live on turn 2. Like, Avarice has no business at 3 copies. I mean, it just shouldn't be. And we've got our semi-limits. There was also a card in the OCG called Primal Seed that was restricted. I don't believe we even have that card unless it's named something else. I don't really have any information or opinions on that because I don't really know what it does. Semi-limited Summoner Monk. I think that they really just did this to boost the power of XC summoning. I don't really think it's going to affect the game in any significant way. Tragoedia, okay, I can get down with Tragoedia. You haven't really done anything. Props to Lightsworn, I guess. Necro Gardna, I would have been actually more pro Burial going to 2 rather than Necro Gardna. Lightsworn loves this, and I think this is going to be relevant in the format. I don't like the fact that Necro Gardna is chainable from the damn graveyard. And I said this like a year and a half ago. How many other cards in Yu-Gi-Oh are chainable from the graveyard? Like, this card should not be at 2. It should be at 1. To have that type of ability to be chainable from the damn graveyard, it shouldn't be at 2. They should have just put Burial at 2. You know, and everybody says, oh, well, zombies suck. Okay, get it. Zombies suck. Let's see. Swords of the Revealing Light. Like, no comment. It could go to 3 for all I care. D-Draw and DeLorean. I am so butthurt. I traded my ultra rare D-Draw for, like, basically a whole bunch of just, like, good commons and stuff maybe a couple weeks ago. I guess I got to pick some stuff up because with 2 D-Draws, Ab-Zero Heroes is actually a really competitive deck, especially considering I know somebody who topped the regional with 1 D-Draw, Ab-Zero Heroes, and just, like, splashed in some Tengus and shit. So with 2, definitely going to be nice. DeLorean, I've always had the mindset, basically, if it's an Ice Barrier Synchro, just restrict it to 1, because all the Ice Barrier Synchros seem to be broken, but the theme cards seem to be garbage. So, like, limit based off name association. Like, Trishula is pretty broke, Baronic's pretty broke, DeLorean causes, like, FTKs, OTKs, like, just automatically restrict them. I don't even care if the card is generic and has no effect and 0 stats. Just limit it if it has the word Ice Barrier in its name. Like, death by association. Mind Crush, Call to Haunted. This was not a very good unlimit or semi-limit. I know what Konami was thinking. Call is not doing a lot. I believe that within 6 months, you will kick yourself for this because we have Tengu, we have Sangan, we have way too many cards that can activate that we can chain this, target that card, and get a bonus. I don't think this was a very good semi-limit. It should have stayed limited. Mind Crush, I'm fine with Mind Crush. You know, doesn't see a whole lot of play. I mean, I don't know. I don't really think it's gonna make a huge difference, to be completely honest. And then our unlimits. A lot of these, like Icarus Attack and Megamorph, could have been at 3 forever ago. Some people thought Demise was gonna come back. That shit never got off the ground. I said that Kalut and Icarus Attack should both be at 3. Everybody was like, oh, Black Wings are going to destroy the format. Okay. Last time that Black Wings had 3 Kaluts, they sucked in the TCG and were good in the OCG. So, yeah. Anyways, Icarus Attack had no business being at 2, and that was random as shit. Gravity Bind. Xyz Summoning kind of makes Gravity Bind, like, kind of worthless. If you get a whole bunch of level 4s or whatever, you can just Xyz and start beating their ass. And with 3 MSTs, it perfectly counterbalances it. Speak of the Devil, again, if you watch my last video, you know I called this and I said that this should come back. Some people were saying, oh, Heavy Storm and 3 MSTs is bad. First off, again, I challenge anyone out there, how many of you are going to actually use 3 MST? The second thing is, if you would have put MST at 1 and Heavy Storm at 1 and banned Trunade, guess what I would have done? Summon the Quarry, set 5. If you've got Heavy Storm, more power to you. If you don't, prepare to get raped. I mean, that wouldn't have done anything. You know, you have to dig for your Heavy Storm while I can set 5 and who knows, maybe I Dark Bribe or Solemn or Starlight Road, you lose. You know, MST justifies, you know, people not being able to set, you know, 5 cards and then say go. I mean, I like it. Spirit Reaper is irrelevant. And then this bastard. Man, what were they thinking? You know, I think that somewhere in a boardroom, Konami was like, man, remember that Lightsworn format? Yeah, well, my son liked that shit. Let's bring that shit back. Let's put Necro Gardna at 2, and then let's unlimit, you know, Judgment Dragon and ban Royal Oppression because that stops Lightsworns, and you know, let's do all this other stuff to make Lightsworn playable again. This is crazy. I said on Pojo like a month ago that if there was any variation of 4, you know, JDs and Luminas, that 3 JDs and 1 Lumina would be the most powerful, and we now have that. And my goodness, Lightsworn is going to be a tier 1 deck. Freaking take that to the bank, believe it. I'm gonna have a whole video about that too. Sorry that this discussion was so long, so I'm gonna have a full list of the the cards on the ban list so that you guys, if you don't want to watch the entire video. But thank you for watching. Thank you for bearing with me. Tell me what you guys think of the ban list, because I think it's going to be a super aggressive format. But, I mean, it's definitely going to be a nice change of pace from what we had last format.